Hello everybody, welcome back to my studio. This is Emma. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a textile artist and I am very lucky to live and work in Cumbria, where I'm surrounded by really beautiful countryside, hills and fells and plants and animals all around me. Even as I walk down from the house to my studio, I get to be out in nature, which is really lovely, which is probably why I think a lot of my work reflects that. I was brought up near the sea in Sunderland in the northeast of England, but now I live really in the countryside and I really love both aspects of my life. There is the sea over here and I love going up to the Scottish Islands, the Hebridean Islands in the summer for a holiday, and I get another fix of the sea when I go up there. And all of these sort of things, all these factors kind of filter through me and help me create my work. I don't tend to work from something absolute, in that I mean I don't necessarily take a photograph of something and then work directly from that photograph. I tend myself to work through what I feel more than anything else. So if I'm looking out of the window at the fells, I have a feeling about them. I have a feeling about how the land lies, the shapes. It all kind of feeds into a mixture, like making a cake. All the different aspects just feed in, and when I start to play with my fabrics, that's when ideas start to flow and things start to come together. But I would say that I do quite a lot of drawing and I do quite a lot of recording of things, and I just thought this afternoon I'd just show you a few of my little books that I put together. Whenever I go on holiday, I don't know about you, but I always buy nice things when I'm there, so I bought these wools on the islands. This was from South Uist. This was really some lovely wool from the wool shed in South Uist. You know, I've got lovely postcards, I've got little cards that I buy, and I tend to keep them together, so that also can be something which inspires me. When I go on holiday to the Scottish Islands, I tend to take a sketchbook with me, and this is one that I made I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, and I've sort of taken it with me every year. I've made a lovely front piece for it out of painted cardboard, painted newspaper and a little bit of stitching, and then I've glued that onto the front so that it looks nice. And inside I've given it a title, I've called it The Sea, and I've just used a little stamping set and put some little words in there that says erosion and renewal. And this was a little bit of a sea piece that I stuck in there as well. I do love to take these pages out. I don't know if any of you have watched my first few videos where I showed you how to cut these pages out of these particular wire, I can't think what you call them, but they've got a wire ring going through them so that you can actually take the pages out and then put them back in. So that's really, really useful. So I mean, you could just take a few pages if you're on holiday. You don't actually have to take the whole thing. This was some newspaper I bought when I was on holiday. I think that was on Colonsay, and then I've come back and I've just done some stitching onto that through the paper. And this was some little scraps that I've just created, and I thought that was quite sea-ish, so I've kind of stuck that in there as well. So some things are things which I would call site-specific. So when I actually go on holiday to the islands, I might do some drawing. So that's a little sketch of the sea, of the view out of the window. And that comes back home with me and helps just feed. It just feeds. It's like eating. It's like eating food feeds the body. This feeds my creativity. So on the left, on this side, we've got a drawing which I've done using water-soluble pastels, and on this side, I don't know if you can see it, but that's just all the stitching of something from the other side. So on the other side, there's a map and some fabric, and just all that lovely stitching has gone onto there. One of my early videos, I did show you how to do some simple printing techniques onto pages like this, so that you create a background for what you're going to put in. So for example, that's just got a shell drawing that I did, if you can see that, which goes over the top of that. But it gives you a lovely background to add other things into. It gives you patterns. It gives you. Well, this one's one where I've painted some cardboard up and stuck that in, and that's got a sort of sea reflection going on there with the colours. So it's just kind of building up a collection of things which can inspire you, and if you're feeling stuck and you don't know what to make one day, you can just have a flick through some of these little books. I take on holiday with me, I always take some fabric and some hand stitching equipment, so I can just do some sewing when I'm on holiday. I find it very hard to go away and not have some kind of textiles going on. So that's a little piece that I did on one of the islands, and I've just popped that in there. So you don't actually have to be drawing as such. You could simply be taking photographs. You could be sticking photographs into a book like this. If you can hold a pencil and you have a piece of paper, you can make marks. So if you're out in the countryside, you can be looking at stones or bark, and you can just be sort of making marks. Just, you know, it's all about observing and looking and recording and bringing something back from where you've visited, which helps you to feed into your work and keeps your work kind of fresh. The thing I thought I would just show you is this little book which I've just started carrying around with me when I go out for my daily walk. It's just a little recycled sketchbook that I picked up from somewhere, and on the front I've stuck some painted cardboard and some little bits of painted paper, and I've put the word walk on with some little stampy set letters, and of course I've stitched it on because I really love to stitch onto paper, and you can see the inside there. I've stitched around that collection of bits of paper. It's a bit of map there, and inside I've just started doing some little drawings as I go out around the countryside, and I see all these lovely plants and things. I just do little sketches. Now, I've been drawing since I was little, and I've always loved drawing, but I have to say it's only recently, in the last couple of years, that I've really started drawing seriously, and I have found that the more I do, the better it gets. And I appreciate that not everybody wants to actually draw like that. For me, it's like a kind of breathing, and it's a kind of therapy really to do drawing, and it just helps me feel my way into the countryside. It helps me feel my way into the plants and the flowers and the shapes that they are. So if you don't want to do that, that's fine. You know, as I say, just take photographs or just look at them, or tear pages out of magazines with pictures in that you like. It's just all feeding your sort of creative process. And I love just the fact that I mean, since lockdown started, I've just gone on the same walk every day, just about, but I see different things all the time. And this has just been the last couple of weeks that I've done this in this little book, because I thought, well, I can stick that in my back pocket like that with a pen. And I don't have any fancy equipment for any of my drawing that I do. That's just done with a simple black gel pen. I have a really cheap set of sketching pencils that I bought in a high street store. Nothing fancy, but what I have got is they've got different one's an HB down to a 6B, so you can get different kind of marks. The other really good thing I have is a set of lovely Intense pencils from Derwent, which you can add water to, and that really softens up all the lines that you make. And the same thing here, I've got some lovely pastels which again you can add water to, so any marks that you make. So I mean, you could just literally be looking at, as I say, bark or stones, or you could do rubbings, anything that just takes you more into the subject matter that you want to be recording, or not. For me, this is part of my process. I really love doing it. I really love making books and sticking things in them. I just find it really helps. So for example, seed heads. I've got a book here which I've just done seed heads in, which included literally taking a seed head, painting it white and putting it onto the page like that, just to get the shapes. And there's another one which is really quite funny. I don't know if you can see that very easily, but that's actually got seed heads stuck down behind tissue paper, just so I could see the lovely shapes that they are. So I just thought I would just share that with you, because it's a little bit about how I work and what I like to do. It's what feeds me as an artist. Nobody else has to do it this way, but if there's anything in what I've said sort of inspires you just to have a go, drawing is simply, if you can take a pen or a pencil and you can make marks on paper, that's drawing. To be honest with you, you know, and the more you look at things, the more you see, you can sort of start to make things that look a bit like what you're drawing. And it actually doesn't matter if it doesn't look totally like what you're drawing at all. If you're just looking at the shapes of things, so that, you know, the shapes that a seed head makes, you could just make those marks on a piece of paper, and it helps you to sort of memorize what they look like, and then when you come to actually stitching something like that, you know, it helps your memory of what you're going to sew so that it looks, you know, more like the seed heads that you've seen. And it shows you the variety of seed heads if you're looking closely at them and trying to draw them and record them. So that's just a little short video. I just fancied having a chat this afternoon. I've done quite a lot of sewing this week. It's been quite a good productive week, and I've really enjoyed myself down here. So I look forward to seeing you again in my next video, and in the meantime, just keep creating whatever it is you do. Thanks so much for watching. It's really lovely to have you here. Bye for now.